with our draft preview series. Now we are first round, pick number 11, the newly minted Washington Commanders. If you're not familiar, the Washington football team has now released and announced their new name, Washington Commanders, Washington Commies. Good for you. What a name choice. But that is it. And they have the 11th pick of the first round. Nick, what are we looking for with the Commanders in the first round pick number 11?
Look, so they have a new team name. The team needs to head in a new direction, and it all starts at the quarterback position. Taylor Heineke has come in these past couple seasons in the playoff game 2 years ago, and this season starting the majority of the games. He did an admirable job. He was very average, had a few nice games, got them big wins against teams like the Raiders and the Atlanta Falcons, but he really is not the guy of the future. He's a nice sort of short-term stopgap. They signed Fitzpatrick. He's hurt. That's not the long-term solution either. So here at number 11, they have got to go quarterback. And I will say this. The first thing is, I think most likely the top two guys, Kenny Pitt out of Pittsburgh and Matt Corral out of Ole Miss, they're probably going to be gone at number 11, either by a team ahead of Washington or someone trading up. I don't think Washington should trade up to take either of those guys. I don't think they're really worth the draft capital they'd have to give up. But the guy at number 11 that I really, really love for Washington and the Washington Commanders, and that's Malik Willis, the quarterback out of Liberty. Malik Willis is about 6'2", 220 pounds, is a solid dude, beautiful arm, great deep ball, good arm strength, great legs, great athleticism. He was backed up at Auburn for 2 years before transferring to Liberty. We had a couple really nice years, again, against a little bit of inferior competition, but this guy showed elite athletic ability. And I really like him here for Washington for really a couple of reasons. The first is because they have Heineke, they don't have to throw Willis to the fire right away. They get to kind of, integrate him into the team, the offense slowly, get him up to speed. A little bit how the Bears did with Justin Fields, just handle a little bit better. If Willis is ready in training camp, go with him. But if he's not, hey, look, you don't have to start him right away. Heineke can win you a few games and keep the ball rolling, as you get Willis up to speed. I do think they go to Willis pretty soon in the season rather than later. I just think he's that kind of talent. And I think he just needs reps, big game reps, because the dude can make everything. The guy he reminds me of so much, and this may sound a little crazy, is Russell Wilson. Willis, just like Wilson, was a baseball star, is that kind of athlete. Great scrambler, great deep ball thrower. I really think it just fits well into what Washington wants to do, right? They're a running team, play action team. They want to take shots with McLaurin. Go ahead. You have
I was going to say, your comp is very interesting because I have another comp who I think Willis reminds me of. Very similar name, but he reminds me of a good, more disciplined Jamarcus Russell. Yeah. Big guy, powerful arm. He's got some athletic ability. But he seemed, going to Liberty. It's a good school here in Virginia. It's a Christian college. He's probably got some morals about him. Not quite the Jamarcus Russell. So a good Jamarcus Russell, which I think is a good place to be if you're Malik Willis.
Yeah, and you hit the nail on the head on something that's important with Willis too. Is I really like guys. They used to be, kind of have red flags, but guys who transfer and then become starters other places. Russell Wilson did that. Joe Burrow did that. And, having to do that means you have to spend a lot more time in college. You're usually more mature. You don't run into the Jamarcus Russell, Ryan Leaf, some of the Dwayne Haskins problems where you have maybe some maturities coming out of college where you're not mentally ready to take over a franchise. Malik Willis is a senior. Right. He was a redshirt senior this past year for Liberty. This dude has been around college for 4 years. He went to Auburn, picked up and had to move his entire life to Virginia to play at Liberty. Like you said, that's a lot of, kind of adult life situations that you have to get into. And I feel like that makes him so much more ready his rookie year to come in and make an impact for Washington.
Yeah. And another key here, you probably didn't know this, but my family being big time Liberty fans. My wife got her master's degree online at Liberty University. So, we're big Liberty fans over here. You know what I mean? I think Malik Willis has looked the part all the past couple of years. I think he'd be a great pickup. Obviously, another great pickup if he's available. I doubt he slides this far. We're saying Matt Corral, Old Miss would be another good one if they had the ability to get him. But realistically, even with the potential injury concern of the last game of the season for him, there's no way he's going to slide this low, don't you think?
It would be very, very surprising. Granted, if he's there, you take him if you're Washington, because I think he's a better prospect than Willis. But again, if Willis is there, that's more than enough a consolation prize, because I think Willis has all the tools to be, like I said, I like the comp to Russell Wilson. I think he has that kind of potential in terms of maturity and physical tools to be that for the Washington Commanders.
And like it says on his wristband, it's going to be God's plan. So we will see what happens with the Washington Commanders. This is the end of their segment. This is our draft preview segments. So keep an eye out for if your team pops up. We'll tell you what we think they should do this offseason draft